in here. W4TP with N4JK, K4JCP. Well, I'm sorry I could not be more help, but for now I'm just going to take my super turbo and super duper encapsulator and go drink another cup of coffee. You fellas have a nice day. K4JCP, off and Bill.
I'm going to go ahead and wait with Kate. N4JK here.
Alrighty, K4YBC, WA4LLR. I believe the early bunch is finished. Dave, I've got you in there. Who else is here?
W4JPL.
WD4OUM.
WB4NKL.
N4LQ. Okay, YBC, JPL, OUM. Somebody doubled with Cliff and LQ. Who doubled with Cliff?
AM4CL.
All right, Chad, got you. Anybody else? Okay, I guess that's got us for this morning. Let me give you the list one more time. YBC, JPL, OUM, NKL, RCL, and LQ. Anyway, good Monday morning to everybody. This is kind of a day we have a somber anniversary to remember. 22 years ago, 9/11. Pray that doesn't happen again. 61 degrees, lots of fog this morning, so I hope everybody had a good weekend. K4YBC, WA4LLR.
Okay, Dave, WA4LLR, K4YBC, real fine. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. It sure is 9/11. It sure is. Man, I got 64 degrees over here, Dave, and I hadn't really looked out. It's kind of partly cloudy, I think. Anyway, and we're on the little Lobe Scout this morning. It might be just a smidgen off frequency, but I hope everybody can copy. Not much going on. We got a little rain here last night, and oh well. I think Janie and her sisters are wanting to go up to Hickory Town here after a while, so I guess I'll tag along with them. Maybe they'll buy me something to eat or something. You know how that goes. You know, if you get a free meal, you jump on it. Anyway, W4JPL to take it. K4YBC.
Okay, K4YBC in a group. W4JPL. Hold on a second. Let me tune this thing a little bit. Good morning. It is 68 degrees over here in Liberty, and this morning I decided to fire up the Hallicrafters SX117 and the HT44. Back a little goofy this morning. Power out doesn't seem to be what it ought to be. Well, there goes a little bit more juice. Fiddle with this thing. Yeah, it's a little gooder. So I hope everybody's doing alright this morning. Had a real busy weekend, but now it's back to the usual insane nonsense here at the Looney Bin. WD4OUM in a group, W4JPL.
WD4OUM. Well, good morning, everybody. All is good in Burbank. Wee bit foggy, but, you know, that's okay. Well, Friday evening, about, I guess about 7 o'clock, it started raining, and I believe that's the most rainfall I ever seen in that short a time. We got over 2 inches in less than 20 minutes. The hip flap put it down, but we need it. Good press. So there you go. WB4NKL, WD4OUM.
WD4OUM, WB4NKL. Okay, Terry, good morning to everybody. We got, I don't know, I thought that was Thursday night. We got about 2 inches. Pretty sure that was Thursday night here, and then we got half inch or so that night you're talking about. But altogether, I think we got about 3 inches of rain or so there over a 2 or 3 day period. Got 61 here this morning and a lot of fog, like you're talking about. And let's see, the 911. That's one of those dates that everybody remembers where they were at when they heard the news. I remember I was at work and we all ran down to the yard office. It's the only place they had a TV, and we watched a lot of it on the news there. I can remember being there exactly where I was at. And let's see, Chad, didn't see you over at Asheville there Saturday. I thought you were coming that direction. We had a good meet. Weather was perfect. A little cool starting out, but no rain. And had a good time over there. Seen Dave and John out of this group. Go ahead, Chad. KN4RCL, WB4NKL.
Well, and it rained here, and it was Friday night. It rained hard here, and I guess that same storm that Terry was talking about came through here, and it rained. We got 2 storms. It rained about 6, 7 o'clock, and then rained again about midnight. Come off a thunderstorm, and we didn't get to make it over there. Saturday it was raining over here Saturday morning, so I figured it was raining over there. So it wasn't much of a day, so we just stayed at the house. Yeah, it was kind of a rough weekend. I don't know, a man that's been going to church with our church up there. He got killed on his way home from church in an accident. So I was up late last night dealing with all that because the medical examiner in the corner had to come from Asheville and Howard Trow had to do a recreation team, put it all together and everything, so I had a pretty late night last night, and dealing with fatality, I always gets to you, you know, like that and a lot of things, so I had a rough weekend. KN4RCL, go ahead, Steve.
All right. Good morning. Second here. My LMAC is feeling a little frisky this morning. It looks like I had to back it down some. Sounds like a rough weekend indeed, Chad. And 9/11, it's my son's birthday, 50 years ago. But the other 9/11, that's the time that we were attacked by Saudi Arabia. No, I mean Iraq and Afghanistan, excuse me. 62 degrees here and clear and sunny. Kind of cold. So back to you, Dave. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
All righty, who else do we have?
K4JL.
Got you, Jim. Anybody else? Go ahead, Jim. Make one and give it back to me.
Roger, WA4LLR, K4JAL. Well, I'm back on the 32V this morning. I've got two critical rigs that have some power supply problems, and I think I got the chatter out of my microphone on this guy. So whoever takes it next, give me a signal report. K4JAL.
All right. K4JAL, WA4LR. Sounds good, Jim. I believe you got him squared away. And Chad, I sure am sorry to hear about the accident. When it comes back to you, if you don't mind, share the person's name that died in the accident. If you don't want to, that's fine, but if you can, I would just be curious. Let's see here. I'm on the RT-13, but I'm using the Hammerland HQ-180 receiver that I picked up at Shelby. Seems to be doing pretty good. Dave, the Globe Scout sounds good, and John, the HD-44 is 20 over up here, so sounding good. Terry got 2 inches plus of rain. We got 1 inch and 1700s, I think. And yeah, Cliff, all of us can remember pretty much what we were doing when 9/11 happened. I was in Hendersonville at the AmeriGas plant. We were doing some maintenance on our bulk tanks, and everybody went in the office where they had a TV to see what was going on. And Chad, I hate you had a weekend so rough. That would have been rough, yeah. And happy birthday to your son, Steve. And Jimmy, glad you got the microphone issues ironed out. So we'll go back around here. K4YBC, WA4LR.
Okay, Dave, WA4LLR, K4YBC. Well, good morning again to everybody. Great signals this morning, nice strong signals. I'm picking up a little splatter from some sideband stations, but everybody's really booming in. And Jimmy, your rig sounds real good. I think you put a new microphone or something on that thing, because it really speaks with authority is what I'm trying to say. Sounds real good. And I just looked out the window, and Steve, we got your sunshine up here. The sun's coming across the mountain, and everything's looking pretty. So anyway, not much else going on here. Finally got this little Globe Scout line. I still got to get I got to go through a junk box, find a different relay that's got a couple more terminals on it. But I'll take care of that a little later. Anyway, I hope the little Scout sounded good. It'd been sitting on the shelf for a long time. It was a basket case when I got it. When the power transformer was out of it. The caps were original, I think, from 1959 or something, and well, it was in pretty sad shape. But anyway, the panel looks real good, and I painted the cabinet, and it's looking pretty good now. So hope it just keeps on working like that. I hope the modulation audio's okay, and if not, somebody may comment on that. W4JPL to take it. K4YBC.
WK4. 4YBC in the group. W4JPL. I'm a little low in frequency here. Adjust a little bit. There we are, 3885. Fine business. Sounds good to me, Dave. Sounds okay, fine. Chad, sorry to hear about the accident. That's a terrible thing. It really is a terrible thing to have to deal with. And, you got my sympathy on that. Steve, happy birthday to your son. 9/11. I remember that when 9/11 happened, they shut down Route 40 going through Greensboro. because they were afraid a plane was going to run into those fuel tanks near the airport. My reaction was, wait a minute, this is Greensboro. If a plane did hit those tanks, the world wouldn't know it for at least a week. It's nowhere. It was a terrible time, though. Terrible, and just goes to show you how crazy people can be, how to brainwash. Terrible. WD4OUM in a group, W4 JPL.
WK4.
WD4OUM. Good morning, Rick. You come after Jimmy. Turn it back to Uncle Dave. And good morning, you, Jimmy. Yeah, on 9/11, I was down in Aiken, South Carolina, working at that Savannah River site as a subcontractor. And when that happened, man, they kicked us right out in the street. All the contractors, subcontractors, anybody that wasn't an official government employee, they kicked them out in the street. Anyway, went to our shop down there in Aiken. They said, well, just go back to your apartment and kick back and watch TV. So that's what I done. And then the next day, I watched TV, and the next day, on Thursday, I said, I've had enough of this. I'm going home. So I left down there and started up a road. That's the only time in my lifetime I've ever seen people courteous. Everybody was waving at each other. On the highway, everybody was so courteous. They let you merge and do this and that, and wave, and it just seemed like being out in the woods when it was pouring down the snow. It just there was a different sound about everything. But yep, it takes something like that to bring this stupid nation together, and then we fall back apart again. So there you go. Oh well. And Cliff, that was Friday night, and it was a bad storm, bad. It was thunder booming, lightning every which way. And Chad was right. It come back about midnight, and of course it didn't do near as much midnight, but that was a bad storm there Friday evening. So we didn't get none of that thing that you got Thursday. I can remember you talking about that Friday morning, but we didn't get none of it. Anyway, WB4NKL, WD4OUM.
KO4SSY.
And WD4OUM, WB4NKL. Good morning, Rick and Billy. You'll come right after Rick, your favorite participant. We got that storm, Terry, on Friday night. It dumped about a half inch, and then it come back around and get about 3/4 of an inch. But we had the big rain, almost 2 inches there Thursday night here. So like I say, over the period we had quite a bit of rain. Those 32 V's are sounding good, Jimmy, and you didn't come over to the meet either. I was looking for you. I guess you got like Chad, the rain scared you off maybe. But it never did rain over at the meet. And because the little Globe Scout sounds great, I was wondering which. I think they made several different versions of that. Is yours just a plain Globe Scout, or is it a deluxe, or I think some of them had some numbers associated with them, and then they had just plain Globe Scout. But it sounds great. I don't notice you being off frequency any at all here, but the receiver's not that narrow, so I just run that thing. until you get the LMAC going again. Chad, we had a friend of the family. He was married to a good friend of ours, and they had split up. But Colt Reeves, he was killed in a car wreck there Saturday night. I guess he's about 30, in his 30s, 35-year-old maybe. So I hated to hear that. I don't know any details about it, just that he was killed. So hate to lose somebody that young. Hate to lose anybody, but when they're in their 30s, it hits especially hard. Go ahead, Chad. KN4 RCLs WB4NKL.
I don't think I can tell the name. He moved up here from Florida, and they ain't notified all the family down in Florida. No, I've talked to the state troopers, and they had to, I guess, call Florida and have a state trooper go to his house, his remaining family in Florida, and notify them. Then he had some kinfolk in Tennessee, and they had to call a Tennessee state trooper to go to notify the rest of the family in Tennessee. So he didn't have no friends or nobody in North Carolina or anything, just need to notify the family. And when we could give the name out, it'd be at Yates Funeral Services. Will have the body, and that's all I know. He's been coming to church for a couple of years. Not him, but the fellow he was working for, his boss, bought a big old place up here, and he's been taking care of it for him, mowing and everything around it. So it's kind of looking after the place and taking care of it for his boss in Florida. So his boss is a good man. I met his boss. I've never met him before, but Dad knowed him and everything. He talked to him Sunday morning at church, because he sat right in front of him at church about all of us, and that makes it tough, when somebody gets killed coming home from church and everything, But I guess that's why they give the invitation, KN4RCL. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay. Sad story there, Chad. N4LQ. And, just sent my son a happy birthday by Facebook. That saves a stamp, doesn't it? Lazy. Anyway, they live up in Indiana, near Nashville, Indiana. That place is like, it's sort of like Nashville, Tennessee, full of gift stores and all that. It's a resort type area with hills, mountains, and winding roads and all that. It's kind of an unusual area of Indiana. But one of these days we'll get back up there to see him. I guess we'll see him. We'll see both the kids Thanksgiving. That's the main time we see them. They come down here and stay. Anyway, the rain, I think it was yesterday, we got 1.5 inches of rain real quick, sort of like Terry's rain, or was that Terry that said that? There's 1.5 inches of rain, and it was probably 20 minutes. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't hardly see out. And yeah, cuz that Scout sounds great. I think he said it was a 680. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look that up and see what kind of modulation it uses, but it does sound excellent. If I didn't know any better, I'd say it's a 32 V3 or a V2, which, Jimmy, yours sounds tremendous. That thing always sounds good when you get it going. So congratulations on that. And over to you, K4JAL, N4LQ.
N4LQ, K4JAL. Well, thanks, Steve. I love this rig when I've got it right. It's my favorite, I guess. I was thinking, I've still got a little bit of feedback, but not too bad. Hopefully that isn't distorting me too bad. I was landing at O'Hare on 9/11, and they had us in a holding pattern for 30 minutes, and finally the captain told us that one tower had come down, and when we were going to get off board, he came out and said the other tower had collapsed. My truck was in long term, and the train quit running about the time I got to the truck, and pandemonium reigned. Cuz that rig sounds good. Let me give it back over to Ricky, KN4R, K4JAL.
Well, you got a nice carrier, but a lot of buzz there. WK4R, good morning, everybody. 9/11. I happened to be homesick that day by chance, watching the news, and then it was on. Had the HT sitting on the couch. That's when people use repeaters, I guess. And I was giving updates on the repeater. Phone kept ringing, giving updates on the phone. I guess they didn't know I was sick, but anyway, kind of got over it in a hurry, I reckon. Day that don't reckon I'll ever forget. Don't plan to. Terry and Cliff, I've noticed a lot of when I'm looking at the weather map around here, a lot of big red spots have y'all's way lately, and sounds like you've had a few. It's been an eventful weekend, to say the least. See, my daughter-in-law's brother's fiance and her son was killed in a car accident Friday in Hickory. Police car was chasing a motorcycle, supposedly at over 100 miles per hour. I do not know this for a fact. And T-boned her as she started out, or after she pulled out or something, but anyway, and killed her and killed her son. So they're dealing with that, and we're waiting to see what happens. On another note, one that some will find difficult to believe, got a message from Tim, WD4TC. He said, and I quote, "Tell everyone on the old people net, hello." It sounded like his voice anyway. KL4 says why? WK4.
WK4 on the group killed for us. That's why we're trying. Well, didn't nobody give two flips about you being sick, you little whiny baby. You just, well, you know what was going on in the world. Well, shoot, I'd done hauled a lot of logs and we put them back into the woods, get load number 2. When I found out about it, that's the way my life revolved back then. So it was in the up north of the Queen, Arkansas, up around the lake, going in to get load number 2, like I said. And just to show, we had a gas station there in the hometown that Lord, I guess I need to be nice. Anyways, ragheads had come in and bought it. And they said when that first plane went through the towers, that old boy went to jumping up and down, clapping hoorah and carrying on, and anyways, it didn't take very long. He was out of business. The city was screaming and crying. Oh, don't do this. Oh, well. Anyway, Yeah, they got run out of town. So anyway, I guess that's the way it goes. Let's see. I'm assuming that you at the top, Dave. I don't know. I'll just leave it at that, and if it's you, you can get it. If it's somebody else, they can get it. KO4SSY.
Was there another station wanting to come in with a big carrier? Evidently not. KO4SSY in the group. WA4LLR. Well, yeah. I guess his rejoicing didn't last long. Anyway, you know, the Bible says not even to rejoice when your enemy has a bad day. Let's see here. Terry, I agree with you. When that happened, it changed things in the country for the better. Churches filled up, but it didn't take very long for it to go back the other direction, which is a sad commentary on us. And Cliff, sorry for the loss of your friend there, and Rick, sorry about the deaths and your extended family. I hate to hear that. But we never know. All we can do is be ready. And the Bible emphasizes the fact we need to be ready. Everybody's sounding good this morning. Good signals, good audio, just armchair copy from everybody, which is a mighty pleasant thing. And don't have the QRN from the afternoon and evening thunderstorms yet, so that's good. So let's go back around, and Dave, I agree with everybody else. That little Globe Scout sounds wonderful. K4YBC, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, K4YBC. Okay, gentlemen, well, I appreciate that. I appreciate the report on it. It's a neat little rig. And, yeah, it's the 680. I know they made well, I think they started out with that little rig you got, Cliff, and then they went to just the Globe Scout 65, I think they called it, and then they made several different versions throughout the manufacturing of them, and this one's a 680, and they made a Globe Scout Deluxe model also. I'm not sure. It just, I think it was just a fancier cabinet more or less than anything else. I don't think there's a whole lot of difference in them. And Steve, I think about all Globe Scouts use what they call that Hisense modulation, and I'm not versed on that all that well, but I've heard different people say different things about Hisense modulation. Some say it's a combination of screen grid, plate, and modulation, and I don't know. I don't fully understand that, but it has Hisense modulation on it. And talking about 911, just a few days after that happened, I had to fly up to Pennsylvania. My brother was in serious condition there in Middletown, Pennsylvania. And I flew up there to see him. And the airport there in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania is right on the glide path of that 3 Mile Island nuclear power station. And as we were approaching the land, I just happened to look out the window, and we were being escorted by a bunch of them big old ugly Warthog fire planes that's got the big 20-millimeter Gatling gun in the nose of it. And we were being escorted in by them, and I thought, whoa, this is not good. Or maybe it is good, I'm not sure. But I got to see them up close and personal because they were about on the wingtip of the aircraft that I was flying in. So it was interesting, to say the least. And Dave, you're right, man. Everybody's got a great signal here, and of course, Steve and Terry and well, all you guys are about 40 over 9, and of course, Rick over here, just a mile down the road, he's slapping the meter against the peg, so it's just beautiful copy. So anyway, W4JPL to take it, K4YBC.
Okay, K4YBC in a group, W4JPL, fine business. Rick, I'm really sorry to hear about your loss. Sounds like it was, I hope they string that guy up on that motorcycle incidentally, but it sounds like a weekend for bad drivers or whatever, bad circumstances. Wow. Wow. But, like everybody says, you have to be ready, you never know. That's why I retired, actually, because I told my partner at the time, I don't know if I'm going to live for another 20 years or 20 minutes, but I want to enjoy it. I worked my whole life away and worked stupid hours, did stupid traveling and all that, so. And I have no regrets and no intention of going back that way either. I did go to, after I did all the whining on Friday about how I was not going to the Antique Festival, my buddy K4QE texted me and said, "Let's go, I'll drive." So I just said, all right, I'll get up at 4 in the morning again, and we went, saw Cliff, Mark, and Dave, and chatted for a few minutes, and I bought a Philco Cathedral receiver. It was rebuilt already, works. And I bought this other Silvertone thing that will be a fun project to rebuild. It's got a wire recorder in it, a turntable, and a radio, and the wood cabinet's in good shape. So, fortunately, the amplifier bit will come out very, very easily. Then add insult to injury with going to Asheville. Got home around 12, and by 12:30 I was in the car again to go with Maggie to a wedding, and spent the afternoon doing that. So I had a crazy busy day Saturday, and still sleeping it off. I'm going to say 73, boys. It's a beautiful day outside. It's only 69 degrees, so I want to go out there and see what needs to be done while I'm able to be doing it. 73, God bless, have a great day. I'll be listening for a few minutes. WD4OUM in a group, W4JPL.
WD4OUM. Well, go out and catch some yellow jackets or something, John boy. Anyway. And cause the reason I'm so strong over there, I'm running this big broadcast transmitter this morning. So there you go. And Rick, that gets me up on my soapbox. High-speed chase. I usually get in trouble for saying this, but, you know, everybody's got a right to their opinion. I think they should ban, I thought it for years and years, they should ban high-speed chases. The police force should not be allowed to participate in a high-speed chase. I mean, just watch the local news. Every time they get involved, one of these big overweight deputies thinks, you know, he's Richard Petty or something, and he winds up running over somebody or, you know, totaling the car that he's driving. Biggest part of them can't drive a lick. But it you know, that it just ain't worth it. I mean, if somebody run a red light or, you know, done this or done that, you wind up killing somebody, you wind up destroying a $30,000 vehicle or 3 or 4 or a dozen. It's stupid. you know, last time I checked, they've got radios now. They've got cameras, everything else. It makes me so mad I could spit. So, while I'm spitting, Cliff, go ahead and take it. WB4NKL, WD4OUM.
D4OUM, WB4NKL. You caught me other side of the building here, Terry. Yeah, I about have to agree with you on that. I remember wasn't too long ago one of these Tusculum guys chased somebody all the way across out of Greene County up to Washington County, and then Jonesboro there, they killed somebody innocent. Got killed in the high-speed chases. Another car that got involved in it. If they can get tag numbers or something like that, that's all they need. They need to stop right there and they can go pick him up later. Let's see, I was looking at the 680. That is housing modulation, cuz, and that's sort of like the old Globetrotter, about the same deal. I would still, that'd be a form of plate modulation, and sounds great. 6L6 modulator in there. I think the Globetrotter uses a pair of 6V6s. But that was Globe used a lot of that in some of their smaller transmitters, the housing modulation. Go ahead, Chad. KN4RCLs, WB4NKL, 73's to John.
KN4RCL in the group. Mighty fine, Cliff. Yeah, 9/11. I remember I just had graduated high school, and I was working up in the mines and going to school too. So that's probably why it sounds like I've done so many things, you know, because a lot of times I do 2 times at once. During the day I would work in the mines, and night I would go work. I was a full-time student, so I was burning a candle at both ends. And I know with the security up there at the mines is pretty tight, so yeah, they did whatever Terry was saying. They kicked out a lot of people, you know, and kind of locked everything up. But I remained because I was one of the workers. So I was the acid trucks and stuff. I had a problem with that because the acid trucks could be used as a weapon of mass destruction, I guess, and all the chemical trucks. I remember people was courteous for about a week, and real nice. Everybody, I tell you, like, everybody waved, and everybody prayed, and everything like that, and it just lasted for about a week. And Rick, I seen that on TV about that accident Friday night with the Hickory police chasing the motorcycle, when they said that car pulled out and the police is away or something. I think they ought to just these people on motorcycles cause all that, and then hotshot police think they can pull over a motorcycle, and every time they pull over motorcycles they run, it equals a chase. So I think anybody that I think they ought to ban them, the chases, period, because it ends up getting a lot of innocent people hurt. And I don't know, when you can look at the Blues Brothers movie or Smoking the Bandit and see how much damage it does to the taxpayer. And so I know it's the movies, you know, and exaggerated, but probably it's closer to real. Tell you the truth, and what I didn't agree with when I worked It's when one of them prisoners had a heart attack or something, it would, the ambulance had to go wide open. I said, it's a prisoner. Why don't just go routine? And they didn't want to go routine. They wanted to go wide open, And I said, it's not a prisoner. He's done been convicted and everything. Don't worry about going so fast and everything. Just go ahead and make them pay their debt to society and not think about getting somebody hurt, because somebody will get hurt and killed every time they tell you the truth, they would not do none of that chase business and everything like that. KN4RCL, go ahead, Steve, and give us your opinion about chases.
Okay. KN4RCL, N4LQ. That's a very interesting topic, and I can definitely see the point of avoiding a high-speed chase. But now I was thinking about it from the criminal's standpoint of view, and if he knew that he would not be pursued after committing a crime, what effect would that have on his perspective as far as committing crimes? I guess what do the police do? They just send an email or a letter in the mail, or to come into the police station next time they get a chance and get arrested, or what are they supposed to do? I don't know. I think it would definitely have some effect if everybody knew that you would not be chased. So think about that. Of course, now the movie makers would all be out of business because there wouldn't be any more police chases, and they probably would have to ban all those movies that showed stuff like that. Wouldn't want to get anybody upset. So there you go. Heising modulation. Yep, I looked it up here, and that's an interesting form of modulation. It eliminates the I guess it's plate modulation indeed, but it eliminates the plate transformer, but requires a big old choke. So I guess the big old choke is cheaper than the big old transformer. I'm not sure, but I had the Scout Deluxe here. I gave that to Boone. He's supposed to get it on the air pretty soon, and that choke in that thing was as big as a transformer. So, of course, it wasn't push-pull audio. It was single-ended. 6L6. It used something on the order of a commercial version of that, I believe, of that 6L6, and it ran it hard. Man, it had, as far as I'm concerned, it was overdone. They ran it too high voltage, too high current. So it was, after a long transmission, it'd be panting. And as far as where I was on 9/11, I was at work, and we were, our team was in the basement of the building at that time, 30 feet below the ground. So we were protected from such things, I guess. But anyway, we all ended up in the conference room watching TV, and they shut down the airport. Of course, they shut down all the air traffic. I guess it was the next day. And I remember how quiet it was because I was in downtown Louisville, just north of of Sanford Field, and the planes would come right over the bank, and it was loud, and all that was gone. Now, just remember how quiet things were after that. So, Jimmy, if you're still around, K4JAL, N4LQ.
N4LQ, K4JAL. Well, I've plugged the headphones in. I'm still getting some feedback. Boo to this. Anyhow, Cliff, I forgot to go to Asheville. That's what happened to me. I'm still getting some talk back through my headphones, so I don't know what's going on here. It's just audio getting corrupted by this very noisy transmitter. So, over to you, Rick. WK4R, K4JAL.
WK4R. Well, on a different note, I need to weed eat soon. The city cut the hill in front of the house and that I can't ever get to. Gotta cut grass later this week, I suppose. See how the rain does. I think it's supposed to be a little drier. And I was going to ask John who was the worst influence on the other. It appears that he and K4QU, or I think that was his call, seem to be influencing each other just a little bit there. And yeah, unfortunately, the police car was the one who hit her. No idea what happened to the motorcycle. And I agree that radio is a lot faster than a car. And I had, since I used to do some of this for a living as an adjuster, I mean, at 100 miles per hour, it's about 147 feet per second. And even if you have really quick responses of 2 seconds or whatever, that's 300 feet per second, which could put the car out of your vision almost, depending on terrain and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of hard to get away. And if you go to 3 seconds or so, because you're going to stop, look, and then pull out and all that, just the figures start adding up. I'm going to say 73 on this note and get out, and I'm going to listen for a while. But I'm going to get out and see what I can tear up here. Let's see, KO4 SSY, WK4R Cleveland listening.
All right, Rick. WK4R 73s, KO4 SSY returning. Well, I think once it reaches 85, 90 mile an hour, they should have to abort. They should try to get anything that they can get off the car tags or whatever. Call ahead, try to keep inside or whatever, and not push the issue. Just for. I mean, there's ways of catching people. Like you said, the radios, and just get a darn tag number and show up at your house. That's all you got to do. And then it's people getting killed. Just don't add up. I can't say I ain't never run. I'd be lying. One time, and it wasn't high speed. I just dotted down some roads and got away. That's all it was. So, most of my life, as soon as I seen the blue lights, I've pulled over and was standing at the back of the car with my driver's license and registration in my hand. Which you could get away with that back then. Actually, they wanted you to. But, anyway, not no more. And not anymore. You just about get shot. I was taking my nephews home a few years back and got pulled over, and while he was back there doing my stuff, one of my nephews thought he had to jump out and stretch his legs or look for something he had dropped or something like that, and the screaming and the gun pulling and all that ignorant crap takes place, and everybody, I don't know, I know you got to be careful, but if you're that scared all the time, you need to find another line of work, in my opinion. It's like I was telling somebody the other day, if these drivers that repo these buildings, they've been tearing a bunch of buildings up, just jerking them off the blocks going up through the floors and busting holes and tearing stuff. And I told them the other day, if you think that every time you pull up on a repo job, somebody's out there trying to shoot you in the back, then you're in the wrong business. You need to do something else. You know, tearing up stuff all the time costs money. But they don't care. It's not their money, so they just want to act like they're whatever and snatch and grab and tear stuff up. Don't make no sense. But WA4LLR to pick it up, KO4SSY.
Okay, KO4SSY in the group. WA4LLR 73 to John and 73 to Rick. On the high-speed chases, you know, we got a lot of technology now. And there is so much surveillance out there, and dash cams and body cams and just on and on and on. And I think a high-speed chase, especially through a suburban area, shouldn't be allowed, you know, in congested areas and so on and so forth. They have so much capability of tracking persons' movements by cell phone and on that I think we could do better if we really wanted to. I know there's times to try to keep somebody in sight, but the collateral damage is awfully large in a lot of cases. Anyway, fellas, I'm going to jump out on this one. I've got a couple of propane jobs I need to try to get done today. Folks are starting to worry about fall and getting logs cleaned and ready for service, so I got a few I've got to do. In fact, I need to get our heating equipment cleaned and ready to go, and my daughter's this week before, Lord willing, surgery next week. So hopefully a week from tomorrow I can get this hip serviced. So I've enjoyed it. Everybody's sounding great, and Lord willing, we will look for you in the morning. So best of 7-3. God bless, and have a great day. K4YBC, WA4LLR.
Okay, Dave, WA4LLR, K4YBC, real fine gentleman. Oh, I'm going to have to get out of here, too. Rick, in case you're listening, the city of Lenoir does ban high-speed chases. They're not allowed to pursue. So the city of Lenoir does not do that. I think it just depends on the town or whatever. Some of the towns forbid it, and then some towns go along with it. But anyway, I got a feeling that the city of Hickory is going to be paying out some big money on this one. So it goes back to the taxpayers. They're going to have to pay that. And I got a feeling that, and to tell you the truth, the officer might get charged also. I don't know that, but it's a possibility he might get charged. But anyway, probably the city of Hickory is going to be paying out some big bucks. Well, 7-3's everybody. Have great signals this morning. Glad the little Globe Scout is working. And Steve, I'm going to give you a telephone call here in a day or two, and maybe we can get together one day that's suitable for you and bring a little LMAC down to you. 7-3's. And I forgot who John left, so I don't know who gets it. Anyway, whoever, go ahead. This is K4YBC.
WD4OUM. There you go to thinking again, Cass. I told you about that. So, oh well. If I was you, I'd just throw that LMAC in the trash. I wouldn't have one of them things. Oh, mate. Anyway. Well, high-speed chases ain't going to occur no crime. So, and that, I mean, just look around. They've got flip-dipping cameras on every corner and everything anymore. So, you basically can't get away with nothing. I remember a couple of years ago, this is funny, down in Church Hill, down there on 11W, they was chasing this old boy on one of these crotch rockets. And they said they clocked him at 85, and, you know, they pulled him over, gave him a ticket and everything. Well, next day, here he come again, and they chased him and chased him and chased him, and they said they clocked him at 140 miles an hour, and they finally just give up. They said, we know who the guy is, so they just give up and just went to his house and got him. Oh well, anyway, it just hurts me. It seems like most of our law enforcement around here anyway, they think they're stormtroopers or something. Go down the road here, there's a deputy always, he's either going up and down, or he's sitting down there trying to catch somebody going a mile over the speed limit. When it looks to me like they can find them guys something to do, let them get out and pick trash up or something. But I don't know. They just hurt me. But don't get me wrong. I'm all for you know, law enforcement and everything, but I don't know. But anyway, on that. WB4NKL, WD4OUM.
WD4OUM, it's WB4NKL. Okay, Terry, yeah, they just need to use some common sense, you know. They could take out after somebody and they can see how it's going to go, or if they can get a tag number or whatever, but some of them don't have any common sense. They're going to run it into the ground, and they do sometimes. That broadcast mic you got sounding good, Terry. I wouldn't run one of them L mics either. I had mine on last night, a little A54, and I'm back on the Globe King this morning, but Steve said, or they was talking to him last night, said the A54 developed a little bit of hum. I'll have to get back into that. I'm going to say 73s too and get out here and walk. It's still 62 degrees and foggy, so might not work up too much of a sweat here today, or maybe I will for all that fog and humidity. 73s catch you all in the morning, if not before. Go ahead, Chad. KN4RCL, WB4NKL.
Well, I know in Gangster County, me and Dave and Jimmy live in, the deputies ain't allowed to run any kind of road enforcement, speed traps or anything like that, and I think that's a good policy. That's all the state troopers' job, and they need to be out here protecting the public and keeping drugs off the streets and stuff like that, and I agree with them on that, and they do a good job. Yankton County does, Sheriff's Department. I mean, some of them deputies, like Terry said, they're trying to catch people doing 1 mile an hour over the speed limit. You know, I don't sit too well people when somebody's house is getting broke into or something is stolen or something like that. That's the highway patrol's job. And that's why I choose to live here in Yancey County. I'll go ahead and say 73s and get on out here on this one. And we'll talk to you when we talk to you. 73s, KM4RCL. Go, Steve.
Yeah, man, N4LQ. Well, maybe they can start using drones to chase people down. The drone can be up high and see where they're at, radio ahead, and position and so forth, and then maybe they can chase them with that drone. The drone can bomb them, something like that. Yep, things will change anyway. 73 is to those who have checked out. Hope you all have a great day. Cliff, enjoy your walk. I should probably do that this morning because I didn't get a chance last night. It got dark on me. This getting dark early stuff's got to stop. It's getting to be a real problem. Let's see, Jimmy, are you still with us, squeaking and squawking over there? K4JAL, N4LQ.
N4LQ, K4JAL. Yeah, I'm still here, and I'm still squawking, and I put the headphones on the DSP, and it was there, and now I've got it plugged directly into the 75A4, and it's still talking to me, so I don't know what the heck is going on here. I think it's transmitting good, but what the heck? I'll say 7-3 and pass it on to Billy, KO4SSY, K4JAL.
Howdy, Mr. Jimmy, K4JAL. Didn't hear no squealing on this end that time. Everything sounded good, so I don't know. Throw your towel over that speaker. Turn it backwards to you. Angle it away from you something a little bit. Used to do that and used to work. I can run the Johnson 400 or 500 at the house there, and it don't do it at all. And then last night when I was talking on that Globe King 500, which I guess is the angle I was setting to with the mic kind of facing back into the speaker. When I'm on the Johnson 500, I've got the back of the mic for the speaker, so I guess that's probably why, but it wanted to feed back a little bit. And then, of course, the other problem, too. But talking about the weather, Cliff, if you're still listening, I was seeing a friend of mine. I don't know if he's still driving truck. I thought he's retired by now, but said he drove through snow twice yesterday in Wyoming, so... this may be a year of frigid, cold, wet winter. I don't know, we'll see. I sure hope it kind of holds out until I go and come. That way I don't have to deal with it, but I may, so I guess we'll see. Everybody else got out. I think I'm going to say 7-3s and head on up front. And y'all have a good day. I believe you're the only next one left, Terry. You and Steve, maybe. Chad, whoever. Yeah, no way. WD4OUM KO4SSY 73.
WD4OUM. Well, have a good day, Billy Bob. And I'm still sitting here trying to figure out what I'm going to get into. Might just go kick back in the recliner and take a nap and maybe dream about it or something. Anyway, you fellas have a good one. We catch you in the morning. Steve, you still there? N4LQ, WD4OUM.
Yeah, I'm still here. Still kicking. Sitting here looking at eBay. There's a Latine transmitter, a Latine 240 on here, which I have got one, and that thing sold for $59. I can't believe it. A beautiful transmitter. 807 plate modulated transmitter. They got a copy of the ad here out of some magazine, and shows a picture of it. I guess that was back in late 50s, and they want, let's see, new price was $79.95. So that was a kit. Yeah, well, times have changed. Anyway, you're sounding good on that thing of yours, but you were bad mouthing my LMAC. I saw a tear running down the front of it when you said that about it, and I had to get my handkerchief out and wipe it. So, Chad, are you still here? N4LQ.
Steve, I guess you don't know the story being me and LMAX. Uncle Dave and a bunch of them used to get on here with them LMAX. Of course, you know me, I got to jump on the other side of the fence, badmouth them and everything. Well, I guess it was last year. Yeah, it was last year. Cliff built this AF-68 and PMR-8 up for his buddy, but about the time he got it done, his buddy passed away, and me and Cliff was talking there one day, and I said, yeah, I'll just take that thing. So, and all in all, it's probably one of my favorites. Looks really good, and I'm running it into Heathkit Warrior that's been modified. It's got 4 572Bs in it and a bigger transformer. I need me a meter for it. Meter was bad on it. Cliff just put this little meter in there for an indication, and buddy of mine, well, the one I got it from up in Indiana, he brought me a new old stock meter for it. Cliff come up here one day and put that meter in there, and it's deader than 4 o'clock. But it's pretty. But he went ahead and put the other one back in there, but it just gives me a relative indication. But I need me a meter for my Warrior. Anyway, yep, that's the story on the LMAX. I just like to, aggravate everybody. But and Cliff wanted to take this little chirp out of. He said he had something built up, putting his transmitter to take care of it when I key up. I said, no, that aggravates people. So there you go, Steve.
Well, I don't hear any chirp. I think it went away. Yeah, I know you're running the 68. And I remember you talking about the chirp. But I have not heard that from you for quite some time now, so I don't know if you talked it out of there or what. Do you think you still? Do you hear it on your end, or do you think that your partner on the other end hears it?
Okay, did you hear it then?
Oh yeah, I heard it then. Maybe I just didn't pay any attention to it. I think you have to have the PMR-8 to make that happen. See, you don't hear it on me, do you?
No, when Kez is running his, it sounds like a 50 amp relay kicking in on his. It don't chirp, but of course he's not running PMR-8.
Well, what happens is receiver, when you squeeze your mic, the receiver is still running because it's got a little bit of DC voltage left. It hasn't discharged yet, and it picks up the RF from your transmitter, and you get a little feedback for about a few milliseconds. And I bet you an experiment we could try, if you cover up your mic with your hand and then squeeze it like that, I bet you I don't hear anything.
You're right. I covered the head of this D104 and didn't hear nothing. But Cliff said he had a little something built up. You know, he was going to put in this transmitter, and I said, I said, you know, that aggravates people.
Yeah. I don't know if it'd do any good or not. Somehow you've got to get that receiver muted before you transmit and not after, and that's what's happening. So that receiver's still playing away, and you go to transmit, it puts out a little bit of audio from yourself for just a millisecond or two, and that's causing that feedback. But I could care less. It doesn't make any difference to me. That's almost as good as a Roger beep.
Well, that's what I told them. You know, I was running the Browning Golden Eagle.
Yeah, I never had one of those. You need a meter for a Warrior?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just wondered. I was looking at meters here, and I saw a couple of them. Somebody on eBay has them for AF68s. They want $45 a piece for those things. Somebody must have tore a couple of them up, ripped the meters out of them. So, Heathkit Warrior meter. I wonder if there's any on eBay. Have you looked?
No, I really hadn't looked anywhere for one.
Yeah. Well, I looked up Heath Warrior, and I got a bunch of football players. That's not what I want. What's that doing under ham radio? Gangrel David Heath? Whoever he is. Oh, he's a wrestler. That's what these are, wrestlers. There must have been a wrestler that was a warrior named Heath. Anyway, I'll try to figure out what that is and see if I can find one of those meters. I bet I've got 50 meters down the basement that have come out of estates and from different things, and one of them might work, I don't know, but it would be good to have the original meter in your Warrior. Well, I'm running the AL1200 Maritron amplifier here, and let's see how much power it's running. Looks like it's loafing along. 300 watts. Anyway, hey, I fixed up my AF68, so it looks better than any of them. I've got chrome door stops under each side of the front. So when you look at this thing, it's sloping back, you know, like a 57 Chevy, and it's got a chrome foot under each side of it. Man, does it look good. N4LQ.
WD4OUM. Well, maybe that's what I ought to do. Let me feel this thing. No, it's just one. But this confounded AF68, when I first got it, I made the mistake of reaching over and filling the top of it. Man, you could fry a steak on that sucker. Me and my buddy got together, and we had this, I guess it's about a 6-inch fan. Anyway, when I run this, I've got that little fan sitting on top of it, and it stays just as cool as it can be. But Yeah, I like the looks of this thing. I'm running 167 watts carrier, so I could probably run more, but that's good enough for what I do, I guess.
Well, yeah, you don't need a great amount of power. You've got that super location there on the hill. I've got 3 AF-68s sitting here. I've got a spare one that I picked up at Shelby and a PMR-8 sitting on top of it. And then I've got Lee K4VWD. He had a problem with it, gave it to me to fix, and got it done, and waiting to get it back to him. And then I've got, I had about 6 or 8 of them here at one time. I bought, some guy sold out. I don't know if he died or what, but there was an ad somewhere. And I answered it and went down in the boonies somewhere and picked up a trunk load of LMAX stuff. Most of it's gone now. And I've got a 67 and a 54 and a PMR6 and a 7. And PMR6, that's a pretty cool looking receiver. It's kind of one of my favorites. But as far as heat goes, just imagine back in the old days when you had a PMR-8 and an AF-68 in your car. In the wintertime, you probably didn't need to use your heater.
Yeah, and it had to be on a cold day at that. Oh, me. But, I like the looks of this little setup. I've never seen a PMR-6. I don't really like the looks of the 7. But, I remember, what was it, 2, 3, maybe 4 years ago over in Morganton. You was out there on the end in the cattle barn. I was out there looking at all the LMAX stuff. You had a whole load of them there. Anyway, you come up there and was standing right in front of my table. You talked to old Doug, W4DCS. And I said something, you kept looking at me and you said, "Now, I know that voice. I know that voice." And I never would tell you my call. Do you remember that?
No, you got a better memory than I do. And I don't know if I'd talked to you back then or not. It's been a long time since Morganton. I do miss that Hamfest. Did they totally quit? Shut that thing down?
It wasn't Morganton. It was Waynesville. I don't know how come made to say Morganton. I guess I had that on my mind.
All right, yeah, I was going to say, I remember meeting you at Morganton. And, you were back there in the cow barn. They got a cow barn in Morganton, too. But that thing just kind of petered out, didn't it?
Yeah, I reckon COVID shut it down, but all in all, that was my favorite Hamfest. Yeah, it was okay. It got to the point where it wasn't big enough to... they used to have both those barns full of people. Back I don't know, a few years ago, and then it got down to one barn, and then the line outside got a little shorter every year, and there was always a bunch of CB stuff there. CBers were, there's a bunch of them up that way, isn't there? Yeah, and on back a little further, Steve, that building up at the top, it was cram-packed plumb full. Do you remember that?
No, I sure don't. Up there where they sell the hot dogs?
Well, it was up there at the very top like right there at last, where you come in, you know, they let you in there to the tailgate section. There was a bunch of buildings to the right there at the very top.
Oh, okay. Nope, I don't, I know what you're talking about now, but no, there never was much up there that I can recall. I guess, see, I started going there, it would have been 2008 or 9, something like that, would have been the first time, I guess. And I guess it's kind of gone downhill since then. The farthest guy up on the hill would have been that old guy that sold stuff out of his car. Most of it had nothing to do with ham radio, and he laid it all. You remember that guy? He laid stuff all over his car and all around it and everything.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's well, I've seen a whole lot of people like him, but I guess he was the worst. Yeah, this was probably late 80s, all through the 90s, I guess. Them buildings up there on top, they was packed full of stuff. And back at that time, you know, computers were real big, and they was a whole bunch of computer sellers and dealers in there.
Oh man, yeah, 80s and 90s. I wasn't even born. Anyway, yeah, that old guy with the stuff on his car, I don't know how he saw to drive, but it was packed to the ceiling in that car, and the passenger seat and everything, and most of it was like toys and things for kids. And so one day he showed up with I'm thinking it was a brand new Yaesu rig, and he claimed that he had won it somewhere at a ham fest. And it was a pretty expensive rig, and he was trying to raffle it off, and he was selling raffle tickets for quite a bit of, I don't know, like $5 a piece or something like that. And I asked him, I said, well, when is the raffle over? And he said, well, when I get enough money. And he would show up every year for a couple of years like that, you know, and with that thing. And it got to be, after about 3 years, the box it was in got all ratty and tore up looking. And I think probably the rig probably wouldn't work by the time he finally ended his raffle. I don't know if he ever sold any tickets or not. WB4OUM, N4LQ.
WB4OUM. Hey, that's a good idea. You know, get something and sell tickets on it. And, you know, they don't never draw for the winner or nothing, so you just keep on going. That's a good one. I think I'll start using that.
All right. Just got a phone call from the XYL who's on the other end of the house. Want me to come and help her with something. So, yeah, real good idea. Sell raffle tickets until you get enough money. Boy, that's the way to do it. I told him, I said, well, why don't you just sell it? You know, I was going to give him a few $100 for it, you know, and he probably would have done better. I don't know if anybody was ever stupid enough to buy a ticket from the guy. Anyway, I got to go. See you later, Terry. Have a good day, N4LQ.
All right, have a good one, Steve. WD4OUM.